extensive civilian casualties. Among those killed was 23-year-old poet Parnia Abbasi, who died in her sleep along with her family when their apartment building in Tehran was struck. To many observers, this assault appears less about genuine security concerns and more about political convenience. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, facing mounting criticism both internationally and at home, seems to be using the war to shift attention away from Israel's ongoing military operations in the Gaza Strip, where Palestinian civilians continue to suffer daily airstrikes, blockades, and famine. In parallel, Netanyahu's domestic standing has been under severe strain due to a series of corruption charges and protests. A new war provides a powerful distraction and a political rallying point. For Netanyahu, the offensive serves multiple purposes. It silences international scrutiny over Gaza, it rallies nationalist support inside Israel, and it pushes his own scandals out of the headlines. Even within Israel, the conflict has proven widely popular among the public, bolstering his image as a strong leader in the face of external threats. President Trump, meanwhile, has taken a sharp turn from diplomacy to aggression. His earlier commitment to dialogue with Iran had caused visible friction with Netanyahu. But now, with missiles fired and Iranian facilities reduced to rubble, Trump is being praised in Israeli political circles for his bold leadership. This is not the first time the United States has targeted Iran, militarily, economically, or politically. Iran has long been a primary adversary in American foreign policy. The idea of striking Iran has been openly promoted for years by influential figures in Washington. One of the most notable examples was John Bolton, a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations and national security advisor under Trump. In 2015, he famously wrote an op-ed in the New York Times titled, "To Stop Iran's Bomb, Bomb Iran." The fact that such a statement appeared in a major U.S. newspaper without pushback illustrates how deeply entrenched anti-Iran sentiment is in American political discourse. The demonization of Iran in the United States is nothing new. Back in 2002, President George Bush placed Iran in what he called the axis of evil, alongside Iraq and North Korea. This branding laid the groundwork for years of tension, sanctions, and military threats. Yet, when examining Iran's actual behavior on the world stage, a different picture emerges. Iran has undoubtedly posed a challenge to U.S. influence in the Middle East, but it is far from being the primary aggressor. Unlike the United States, Iran has not carried out military campaigns across continents, nor has it spent decades toppling governments and fueling civil wars. More importantly, when it comes to nuclear weapons, Iran is not the country that possesses a secret arsenal. That distinction belongs to Israel, the only country in the region known to have nuclear weapons. Israel has consistently refused to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and has never allowed international inspections of its nuclear sites. This hypocrisy of two nuclear-armed nations policing a country that does not yet have nuclear weapons is glaring. Critics of Iran often point to its domestic repression as justification for military action, but they tend to overlook the long history of American interference in Iran's internal affairs. In 1953, the Central Intelligence Agency orchestrated a coup to overthrow Iran's democratically elected leader, Mohammad Mossadegh. The operation installed Mohammad Reza Shah, whose authoritarian rule lasted decades and was marked by torture, censorship, and widespread human rights abuses, all with American support. As historian Ervand Abramian writes in A History of Modern Iran, the Shah became obsessed with purchasing American weapons. Arms dealers joked that the Shah read their manuals the way other men read Playboy. Ironically, the Iranian nuclear program that is now being bombed by the United States was first initiated under the Shah's rule with help from Washington. So here we are again, a fresh military campaign, another round of airstrikes, and a flood of headlines framing the event as necessary and heroic. Weapons manufacturers are likely watching these developments with great interest and satisfaction. Wars bring contracts, and conflicts ensure profit. For them, a new front in the Middle East is not a humanitarian crisis, it is a business opportunity. Netanyahu has thanked Trump profusely for what he called a historic decision. In his words, the American strikes will change the course of history. But if history tells us anything, it is that wars fought under the banner of peace rarely achieve lasting peace. Instead, they leave behind rubble, grief, and generations of trauma. As the U.S. media continues to portray these attacks as justified and necessary, the broader truth becomes harder to ignore. Two powerful, nuclear-armed states have taken it upon themselves to bomb a sovereign nation under the pretext of preventing a nuclear threat, one that has yet to materialize and which they themselves have helped create. What President Trump will do next is anyone's guess. Known for his unpredictability and impulsivity, he could escalate further or claim mission accomplished and move on. Either way, the weapons industry will thrive. And for civilians caught in the crossfire, the consequences will be as real and devastating as ever.